YouTube, welcome back to the Cage Corporation. So today I'm going to be talking about an Anarchy format. In kind of in response, I say in response to like Megcapg and Yuginono, because and also kind of to these users on Reddit, because I actually find it to be a very interesting idea. The idea that everything on the ban list is just unbanned, and you can just go wild with whatever you want. Of course, this does create a few problems, which in this theoretical format, or possibly not so theoretical, depending on how everyone wants to play it. The idea being that everything is unbanned is kind of a technical one, because is that everything is completely unbanned, everything is cop-free of, or does that mean everything is brought to legal play? You can place limited things. Of course, you could argue that there are some cards that should literally never be unbanned, and I agree. Stuff like Cold Wave in particular, which is like just drop a magic card in, all magic cards, all trap cards, suddenly negated, can't use them, what the fuck, etc. But I was reading about, I watched Yuginono's video. I didn't see Megcapg's, but I'm kind of responding to the whole general idea of an Anarchy format. I then went onto the YuGiOh Reddit, and there was a subreddit on there talking about the idea of like creating a real deal. And then they proceeded to then list a whole load of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that were already on the ban list that should be banned again for the purposes of the Anarchy format, which, apart from the fact that that's kind of not the point of an Anarchy format, the idea of the Anarchy format is it is complete and utter chaos, and of course you can't call it chaos format because that's kind of already a thing from like 2K4, 2K5. Quite obviously, I think some of the cards should stay on that list, like, again, as mentioned, Cold Wave. Some of them I was on the fence about, stuff like Mass Driver, Wave Motion Cannon, and the reason I say that is because, again, it's a Chaos format, and those cards, especially something like Mass Driver, are only exploitable for an FTK by a certain thing happening. So, it kind of debatable. I've got a sort of possible workaround for that, which I'll put forward to you in a moment. And obviously some cards are on there that I thought, like Makura the Destructor, which is like, it's kind of broke, but not really. I mean, I'll admit that my familiarity, or lack of familiarity with some of these cards might be a good reason, but some cards on there, like Pot of Greed, like banned, I think it was. Sorry, Graceful Charity was meant to be banned. I was like, really? Graceful Charity's not that bad if you play it as limited. Even now, I think it could probably come back. We could have cards like Card of Demise, and Pot of Desires. Pretty sure Graceful Charity can kind of work, apart from, of course, milling through the deck. There are so many mills nowadays that it's kind of irrelevant, I feel. But the predominant principle of the Anarchy format is that, as you can probably tell, is complete madness and that everything is unbanned. So cards that I do think that a few cards should stay on there. But I think my workaround for this would be by introducing a higher minimum deck limit, for example, 50 cards at least, and then having certain cards as at 1, like, of course, like Raigeki, which is already Change of Heart, Monster Reborn, etc., all be at 1 in a higher, in a larger deck, like 50 cards, maybe even 60 cards, which means that cards like, say, FTKs, like, say, Mass Driver, which would be, say if it was an at 3, would, of course, in a standard deck be like a 1 in 18 chance or whatever of drawing it out on your first turn. Or say, I don't know, it's like 50 cards, 1 in 10 or whatever, if you're going first. Slightly less if you're going second. To bring that down to like a one like limited copy of Mass Driver, okay, as a 60 card deck, just like impossible to do. And you could say like, well, that kind of defeats the point of it being Yu-Gi-Oh, blah, blah, blah. But then you got to think of like, say, Magic the Gathering, which has like so many fucking different formats. Like Commander format, I think it is, like 100 cards. Fuck, that's a big ass deck. So it's clearly possible to do so, and I think really should happen. I think Anarchy format's actually quite an interesting idea. Effectively, me and my friends play like a pseudo-Anarchy format, where basically you don't play loads of really easily abusable cards. Like, we allow the odd pot of greed in, or change of heart perhaps, but you know, don't play in more than one of them, sort of thing. So us here at Cage Corporation effectively play a pseudo anarchy format. But I'd like to see what you guys think about anarchy format, because I think it's a very intriguing idea, and I'd like to sort of try and set it up on YuGiOh Pro or whatever, so that effectively all cards are unbanned. I'll probably make another video or post on our Facebook or something, my idea, or possibly in the subreddit as well. Link to it I'll pop in the description. I basically want to put the idea forward of what cards I think should be banned, and why. But I do think a lot of those cards are safe to come back for purposes of an anarchy format, because of course it's an anarchy format. It's not supposed to be, you know, it's not supposed to work. I mean, I think another example could be Sixth Sense, where I think like that could be pretty mad, but you could probably have it back because it's random, but then I'm pretty sure it's 2 numbers, isn't it? So debatable on how good that is. I certainly think that should be a one of in a 60 card deck at most, but I'm thinking the idea is, especially, is that it should be a 50, at least 50 or probably 60 card deck in order to make it less consistent. And then you can have your other cards that mill and all that other crazy shit, which means it's basically anarchy, it's complete chaos, but it's a 60 card deck. So I'd love to know what you guys think, and if you'd like to let us know in the comments below, you can certainly do so. Follow us on our Facebook and our Twitters, which are all, again, down below. I'll put a link to that subreddit also in the description. And if you'd like to like this video to let me know that you liked it, so that I know that and I can make more videos like this, that'd be fantastic. Enough plugging for now, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Take it easy. Ciao, ciao. Goodbye. Oh, my fucking toe.